Hi, I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Summer,
and we are Woman to Woman.
We have created this community to help women remove judgment and shame away from themselves by educating women on women.
We hope to create a safe space where you feel heard, understood, and empowered to connect to the woman you are on the inside.
We are talking about self-talk and the importance that it has on ourselves and the impact that it has on the way that we view ourselves, circumstances, and our perception on the world. And we thought we'd get into the episode again today with Kaylee reading a poem.
So I had to dig into the archives of my poem books. This was written in 2023 and it's called The Voice in Your Head. So this was when I was beginning my positive self-talk journey and really learning the importance that it has in your life. So, I wonder if people pay the same amount of attention as I do to our voice in our head. The conversations we have to someone and thinking of how they'll respond. When you write and whatever you're writing, you're also saying in your head. The silent screaming you want to say, but it just stays up there. The advice, but also the encouragement. The questioning of people's actions with a straight face, but 1,001 thoughts and conversations going on in your head about them. See, it's strange as I grow, so does she. Her values and perspectives change, her voice changes, and the way she treats me changes. Her opinions on other people change, but also the negative thoughts. Instead of feeding them like she used to, she tries to see the positive side. Protecting me with all these things I feel I need to look more into, where to the outside perspective it's an overthinker or anxiety. When I am silent, she is the loudest. And when she is the loudest, I am silent. It is a perfect give and take relationship, the perfect listener and problem solver. The day I no longer hear her is the day I will be alone. She reminds me of the important dates coming up or the list I forgot to bring with me that I need to buy. She plans the conversations I have 100 times so I know the perfect way to say or explain what I need to say. She pushes me when my body doesn't think it is strong enough. She always calls me by my name and reminds me of how strong I am. Sometimes she brings up the past, but not to scare me. Instead, to show me that what I've been through is tough, and that's why it's okay to do the things I do or think the things I do. She creates the most beautiful art in the form of words and makes me surprised when I reread them out loud that is how I truly feel. Sometimes I block out how I feel to how I want to feel, but she's my gentle reminder to show me that it is okay and normal. I feel blessed that out of all the people in my life that will come and go, that she will never leave me. I will always have her through my best experiences and also my worst. She is my teacher and my discipliner. She protects me and she loves me, but I love her more.
How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
She's such a good writer.
I think the main thing that people need to understand when they want to begin to nurture their positive self-talk rather than their self-talk that they've had previously is that any form of relationship that you are creating does take time and it does take effort and consistent practice to be able to create a nurturing relationship. And that is the exact same with the relationship we have with ourselves and our self-talk. Like, it's not just gonna one day wake up and you're gonna be the most positive person about yourself. Like, it does take a lot of time. And even though the time might pass and we are still trying to work out and figure out how we want to talk to ourselves, even though we're not achieving that self-talk that we want to, we are progressing, and over time we will be able to create that desired talk and self-image.
Creates that new belief. The more that you practice it, it creates that belief within yourself, and over time, it does obviously take time, it does become your new beliefs. And the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you interpret these situations, it reflects on how you view life and how you experience your life. And reframing that mindset of the positive self-talk gives you such a positive view on life and the experience that you have on your one and only life in this world. Some ways that we can positively talk to ourselves, one of my favourite ways is through gratitude. I love reflecting. Just has to be 3 things in my day that I'm really grateful for, and that can be someone else or a circumstance, but I always try and make sure at least one of them is something within myself, something that I've done or I've thought, just something within myself that I'm really grateful for, to help that belief that I am happy with who I am and what I'm doing.
One of the ways that I like to talk to myself is when I do something in my day, no matter what it is. If I was if I was myself and someone else did that, how would I respond to them? So if I do something good at work, I'm like, that was actually really good. Like, I was able to do this. I'm proud of you for being patient or being able to do this. And I just always talk to myself how I would compliment someone else. And it just makes you feel like you are your biggest supporter and you are actually here to help yourself grow, and you really want to see the best version of you.
Yeah, definitely. That also feeds into my next one, is self-affirmation. I love telling myself positive things about myself, even when I'm in a situation. It's very easy to think of ways that you interpret the way that you speak to yourself. So I'll use one example. When I was going for a PB in the gym, I used to always think, you have to do this, come on, you can't not mess this up, you have to do this. And before I try lift anything heavy, I always tell myself, you can do this, you were strong, you were powerful, you were confident, you were going to lift this up. And I seem to just, I believe that I can do it, and I know that I can do it, so I do it. And just that positive reassurance of yourself and reframing the already conversations that you're consistently having within yourself into one that actually serves you and reaffirms that belief that you can literally do anything that you put your mind to, as long as you believe that you can do it. And it is very easy to bring anxiety to what you're saying, but if you change it to a positive affirmation of things that you've done in the past of a similar situation, that you know that you've done it through that, and using that as fuel to be able to do what you want to do.
I love that. When I was starting to develop and nurture a more kind and compassionate relationship with myself, I found that I went into the trap of trying to do affirmations, but from my Pinterest or through an Instagram thing that I saw. And affirmations, for them to truly work for you, they need to be specific for you. You need to be the one that is creating your affirmations. You can't just screenshot a Pinterest and put that in your back screen and then that's your affirmation. They need to be so specific, but also in the present moment. So not I will be so powerful. It is, I am so powerful. And whatever you're trying to help yourself with, reframing that affirmation of what you desire in the future, putting that into present tense, and just setting that belief within yourself that you believe that you can do this. And at first, you might not feel like you do truly believe it, but the more you repeat it to yourself, and the more little coincidences or little things throughout your life that it is showing you that, oh, I actually can do this, that belief begins to set in. And then that's when you can be like, okay, I am actually doing the things that I've been saying that I can do, so what else can I do? And then that's when you just keep growing, because you realize that I've set my mind to this, and now that I can accomplish it, what else can I accomplish?
That feeds in so much to your first point, like picking up the small habits that you would think if someone else did it. Actually acknowledging them small things helps with that belief, because you're actually acknowledging the small times that you usually wouldn't realise where you're actually following through those beliefs, and it helps affirm that those beliefs are true, and that no matter how big or small, you've done it and you can continue to do it in any aspect that you want to.
Yeah, I definitely think when beginning to nurture a relationship with yourself and with your inner voice, we can't just solely focus on the massive big things. We've also got to acknowledge the small everyday tasks or everyday things that we do, because those small things add up, and that is the small things that we do in our life create our life. And no matter how small or how big, we should celebrate both of them with so much like excitement and just passion and happiness that we are able to do these things. And it's so cool, because the more that you become aware of the small things that you do in your life that usually you don't blink an eye to, but you're beginning to acknowledge them, are like, oh, I said that I was going to go for a walk today. I did that. I'm proud of you for going out and doing that. Even if I didn't really feel like it, I still went and did that. Or I didn't really feel like going to training, but I still did that. And it's just, instead of focusing on the negative parts of, yes, I didn't want to go to training and I messed up 2 kicks, don't focus on that part. You still went there. Like, that is such a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think a few things are that you can focus on so much of the I did mess up a kick, but you are at training, you are working on your kicks because you've come to training, and what did you do afterwards? You followed up your kick, you followed up your work. Like, there's so much things that you can be proud of yourself surrounding a situation where you may usually focus on the one negative aspect of it, when there's so much positivity that can be surrounded by that. I have been talking to a few of my friends who have ADHD, and it's something that their self-talk they really struggle with when they're not able to complete the things that they want to complete, and they feel like that they're stuck in a rut. And that's something that I experience quite often, and something that's really helped me, which is also about the small wins, is even just breaking up the to-do list so small. So even if it's cleaning my room, like, I break it up so smallly, like, just pick up all the rubbish. And then once I've done it, I'm like, slay, like, you just did that. Like, cool. And then go on to the next one and just consistently be proud of every small step that you're taking to achieve the bigger goal that you want. Even if it may not seem like a big goal, cleaning your room, breaking it up and then finishing it, that is a big goal. You've done your task, and you can be proud of all the small steps that you've taken, and you can take that into literally every aspect of your life.
I resonate a lot with that, because some days when I feel like I haven't been very productive, and then I start going like, oh, you've wasted a day, I sit down and write actually what I've done, and then I'm like, oh my god, I've done like a lot of things, but just because they were small, it didn't seem like I did a lot, but looking at it, I have. And it just makes you be able to firstly acknowledge that, yes, I was hard on myself, or yes, I did have this negative thought, but instead of just allowing them to cycle and just be like, yeah, I've wasted a day, like, I may as well just go to sleep now, or just waste the rest of the day. Instead, you're actually acknowledging, yes, this is how I feel, but what have I done to try not dismiss your negative thoughts or the things that you're telling yourself, but you're trying to find the root cause of it. So why did I feel like I was unproductive? Because I feel like I didn't do my main task. But what did I do? And then you're figuring out how that self-talk of unproductivity was actually okay. And it's just figuring out what is the cause to that voice and to that critic, to that doubt. Because as much as we want to reframe the negativity to the positivity, we can't just dismiss it, because it will linger. So becoming aware of what the deeper cause or the deeper root to our thoughts and thinking patterns is so important in being able to really grow and nurture that self-talk and relationship.
I could not have said that better myself, and I cannot add anything else to that because that is absolutely perfect, and you touched everything that I would have said. Like that was amazing. Well done. I really like that. There's so many positive impacts that self-talk can have on your life. So many, and it really does reframe the way that you view the world and yourselves, and the impact that living has on yourself. And yeah, I feel like we should get into that.
The impact of self-talk is the impact of your life, pretty much. It has so many benefits, and it just influences so much in your life. So what I like to think about self-talk, especially when you acknowledge that you don't talk very nicely to yourself. Like for me, when I started really trying to nurture a more compassionate relationship with myself and the way that I spoke to myself, I began acknowledging that my thoughts are how I feel. So my thoughts influence my feelings, and I want to feel good about myself because I want to feel good about the things that I do. So our thoughts influence our feelings, and our feelings are how our emotions within. And then our emotions are the things that influence our behaviours. So how I feel will influence what I do or what I don't do in life. And the better I feel about myself, the more I'm going to go and do things. And those influences of our behaviours then shape our actions. So then that's what I feel good about myself, I want to do this, so I'm going to go do this. And I feel good about myself, so I'm going to do it well. So then when we're doing our actions over time influence our habits, and then our habits are literally our life. So we might think the way that we think about ourselves or talk to ourselves doesn't have that much impact, but when you think about in those states, like it literally influences our whole life and just everyone around us, the world around us.
No one speaks to you more than you speak to yourself, and you don't speak to anyone else as much as you speak to yourself. So the way that you are speaking to yourself holds so much impact on the way that you live your life and your perception of the world. And when it's more positive, you're projecting so much more positivity, and you're not feeling as much jealousy and projecting that insight of how you view about someone else, because you may look at someone and be like, they look like they've got it all together, I don't have this. But when you start to reflect inwards, and that's coming down to the root cause of why do I feel like this towards her, why do I feel like this, and you're able to learn to work on that part by the positive self-talk. This is the part of me that I really struggle with. How can I reframe this? How can I change this into a more positive belief on myself? And just positively telling yourself that you are however you want to be perceived and perceive yourself has such positive impacts, and it does over time actually reflect, and you do genuinely believe that it is completely true.
I think self-talk also, the way that we speak to ourselves, influences how others perceive us, because when we feel confident within ourselves, when we feel like we're happy with who we are and just are our biggest supporter and we love ourselves, it emits an energy that we are confident and we actually like the person we are. So the people around us perceive us as, oh, I like her. Like, you can feel it. You can literally feel when someone is insecure or when someone is really positively secure within themselves. And the way that we think about ourselves makes us feel the way that we feel about ourselves. And that is what attracts things in our life, whether it be people in our life, opportunities in our life. Just the more confident and happy that we are within ourselves, the universe literally brings it into us because we are emitting that energy and frequency. Like, self-talk has so many more benefits and impacts than we can even really understand, because I think it shapes our whole life and our whole experience and journey on this world. Like, it's so cool.
It definitely does.
So cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Because self-talk, the more you speak to yourself, the more you're engraving your beliefs within yourself. So, for example, my experience during childhood, I felt quite like unloved, or just like not, I was very critical on myself, so I needed to be the best, and if I wasn't the best, I was the worst. Even if I was second, I was the worst. So just having that thought of, I need to be the best, if I'm not the best, I'm the worst, and that just plays on. And even though other people can see that I'm holding up a second medal, in my head I'm the worst, and it's just the perception that you're just not. It's just so strange.
Because you do perceive it, even if someone goes, second, that's really good, you're instantly seeing that as they're actually judging you.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got second. And I have a similar experience with that, the self-doubt and the always having to be the best. I was in therapy from a very young age, and it was something that was consistently brought up is people around you putting this pressure on you? I'm like, it's completely pressure on myself to be the best, that it's never going to be good enough. My best is still not good enough. I need to continue getting better. And it just created so much anxiety and self-doubt within myself, and I just felt like I would never be good enough, no matter how hard I tried or what I put in, and the outcomes that it was. I'm like, well, I could have been better. And I was never happy because of this. I never felt happy within myself and what I was doing, and I wasn't appreciating what I was doing and how much I was achieving. And when I reflect back on it now, like, I'm so proud of what I was achieving, and I just wish that I could have had that same perspective, yeah. Because I did achieve so much, and I took it all so much for granted, and I didn't appreciate what I was doing in the life that I was living when I was living it. But that is the impacts that self-talk can have. I'm now able to see everything that I achieved and be proud of who I was and who I am now.
Yeah, because with going through life and not really acknowledging the things that you have done, that is part of being human. Like, we are such adaptable creatures. When we set a goal and we achieve that goal, we just adapt. Like, that goal's always been in our life, and we really struggle to reflect back on when we were actually working towards that. Because even with my car, like, I saved for so long, and I always wanted a freaking 4x4. And then when I was in it, I actively kept reminding myself, like, this is my dream. It's not just oh yeah, I'm just driving my car now. Like, this is what I've always wanted. And it's just becoming aware of how much you have worked to get to where you are today. And that comes with that positive self-talk. Because I could have also been in the negative side of things, like, yeah, like, I can't believe I've just wasted 3 years of my whole hard-earned money on this car. Like, no, this is so cool. Like, you just need to try and see the positives in life, because then that will help you see the positives in your life, and then in your life within yourself, because everything is all connected. And if we are able to see more positives within others, or within the opportunities that we have, or within the things that we do in our day-to-day life, it can become a reflection of, wow, this is my life. So obviously I have accomplished things to be able to do this, and I should be proud of that.
This is a great reminder of this takes time, because when you first start acknowledging it, you're still going to have those negative thoughts, and they're still probably going to be the ones that are strongest in your head, and then the positive beliefs are going to be at the back. But the more you continue to do it, and the more positives that you can find, it eventually will start to outweigh the negative sides to it. And even when the negative sides do arise and you think of the positives, your brain will start to go, oh, I like that more. And you'll start to think about it more. And on the counter of that, if you still do have those negative thoughts, it's not a bad thing, and it doesn't mean that you're in a setback or that it's not working, because inevitably the bad things happened for a reason, and it's a way to reflect and learn from it. But there's always going to be some sort of positive, even if it's purely, I get to learn from this.
Yeah.
I get to grow. If you can't find any other positive from it, you get to learn and you get to grow, and that is such a positive within itself.
That's exactly what I do, because obviously we go through hard things and bad things in life, but when I do struggle to find something positive out of it, that's always what I resort to. Like, I can learn from this. Looking back in 3 years, this is something that I have learned from. Like, I've grown from that, which is so cool.
Even on that, we had an experience the other day of kind of a trauma trigger, and we both looked at each other and we're like, of course this has happened. And then we both sat there and then we looked at each other and we're like, this is a great learning opportunity to see how much we've grown and how much this affects us less. Our heart was still racing. We were still like, oh my gosh. But there wasn't as much fear or panic. There was no crying. We were able to just be present with each other and then laugh about it.
Yeah.
And it's a great reflection of, there was no actual positive side to it happening, but you can find something positive, even if it's just, look how far I've come.
Yeah, literally. I think an important lesson that I learnt within my journey of nurturing a more positive self-talk is the difference between actual positive self-talk and like being delusional or just unrealistic. Because when we have that unrealistic mindset and you think that it's positive, it actually can be harmful or counterproductive with the way that we nurture ourselves. Because when we have a positive self-talk, it comes hand in hand with the relationship that we're creating with ourselves. So if our positive self-talk is just so far-fetched, then it's going to be really hard for us to create that trust within ourselves to be able to accomplish those things that we're saying. Like if we say, my life is so good, nothing's ever going to go wrong. I just attract abundance. Nothing will ever hurt me. Yes, we can have those things in smaller amounts, but in life, we are going to go through hard times. There are going to be things that will hurt us or not go the way that we want to. And if we have a more realistic approach in what we say to ourselves, it helps us create that trust within ourselves that what we're saying about ourselves is true, because I am actually accomplishing these things, or I am seeing it in my life. And I think the main important thing with really being able to create a long-lasting positive self-talk and voice within yourself is by creating trust. Because if you tell yourself that you're going to do something 3 times and you do it 1 time out of that 3, your brain is going to start to be like, next time you think something, it's going to be like, oh yeah, but are you actually going to do it? So the more little things that we build up, and even if it's, I'm going to do my hair really nice tomorrow, and then you do a really nice braid, you've done that, and then you can just keep rebuilding it, because it doesn't have to be this massive thing. And that's so important, I think, with especially the journey that I've been on, is I struggled to have a lot of trust within myself, and that showed with others as well. So the more that I was able to rebuild that trust and just safety within myself, I was able to make those steps to trusting and being safe around others as well.
Yeah, definitely. When you do have that delusional self-talk, there comes a lot of suppression with that, and you're not actually acknowledging what's happened or happening to you, and you tend to just pretend that your life is happy dandy and nothing could ever go wrong. So you're not actually identifying the root cause, so then it suppresses deep into you, and it still becomes a deep belief within yourself, and that delusional state is just a perception of yourself, and it's not truly who you are. So learning the difference between the delusion and the self-talk, you're able to actually identify what's happened to you, but not just take that situation as this is who I am, because it's not who you are. The situation doesn't define you, but how you reflect on the situation and interpret the situation does. And that is the important side of the self-talk, and believing and trusting that you can do and become anything that you want.
Yeah, I think when I reflect back on the beginning of my journey with nurturing a relationship, because I was low-key a bully to myself. Like, I was the most self-critical person. I was just so hard on myself, and no matter what I did, I could always do better. And I didn't really acknowledge how much good I was actually doing, because in my eyes I could always do better. So I believed, it's just my belief, to be able to really create that compassionate and loving relationship and self-talk with yourself, you need to understand who you are. Like, I can't be saying I'm so good at this, but do I actually even like this? So what I really like to do is reflect inwards and just question myself, ask myself questions. And one thing that I really found beneficial was I wrote down the things that I liked about myself, or the things that I was proud about, or the things that I've done in my life that are accomplishments. So these are my strengths. These are the things that I can, if I'm struggling one day with my self-talk, I can find something within that and then make a positive self-talk about that thing, because I know that I can do that and I'm good at that. And then on the flip, we need to also acknowledge our weaknesses, or the things that we want to work on. So I'd write the things that I wasn't so proud of myself in, or the things that I wanted to grow or work on. So then I have the things that I am good at, and the things that the aspects and areas in my life that I want to work on, and they can play hand in hand. Because if I go straight into something that I want to work on in my weakness side, and then that self-doubt or self-critic arises, I can have something to look back on to help me be able to get that nurturing and compassionate side back. So it's just being able to find the areas that you do want to work on yourself, because that is a part of life. Like, we all have something that we can grow in. And I think creating that relationship where you are allowing yourself to work on those things, because you do want to become better, is so important. And obviously sometimes we're not going to put an intent down and just achieve it straight away, but instead of being like, I told you you couldn't do that, see, you're so bad, it's, you're trying. Like, this is something that you're working on, this is a goal that you've put in place, and you're actually taking steps to do this. You haven't achieved it yet, but I believe that you can if you continue putting in the work. And it's just so powerful to have yourself be a supporter and just want to see you strive and become better.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I think that is so beneficial. And the way you go about that is really important, depending on who you are as a person. Like, I know for me, if I were to sit down and do that now, I would have to make sure that there was more positives than negatives. Otherwise, my brain's going to go, see how much more negatives you have than positives. And I'm not going to feel like I'm going to achieve my things that I need to work on, because I'm going to feel overwhelmed by it. There's so many things that I need to achieve. So I would just jot down some that just are right present. So the ones that you come up with straight away, the ones that are front running of your mind, things that you want to fix, better yourself with. So that I would just jot down maybe just enough so it's not as much as the positives, and then work to make them into my positives. And then you can continue adding to that list as you're bringing them over.
And now that I have grown into a person that I am proud of and I do like, when I do reflect back on if I were in the position that I once was in and someone told me to write my strengths or things that I like about myself or that I'm proud about myself, I would probably go very blank and I wouldn't really know. So what I would do, if someone says to you, like, what do you like about yourself? And you can't really think of anything, how I would go about that is becoming aware that, okay, maybe I'm not focusing on the positives that I have within myself or within my life. So then that is becoming more aware of when I go through my day. Now, from now on, I'm going to be looking out for the things. What do I do in my job that is making me proud? What am I doing in my life with the relationships with myself, with people around me? What am I doing? Like, it can literally just be small things as well. And you're just becoming more aware of the positives that you hold, the positive traits, the positivity that you emit to others, just anything. Like it could, if you really can't think of anything, it could literally just be like, I love how if I see someone doing something good, I love how I compliment people. I don't keep it to myself. Like there's always something that you do that is a positive. It's just that it comes second nature to us, or it's just normal for us. But when we begin to acknowledge these things, we actually see how much we do and how much good that we actually hold and give to others and ourselves.
Yeah, one of my favourite small positive things that I do is I always try get to places early so then I can have conversations with people, whether that be at work or footy training. I don't like to just get stuck straight into footy straight away. I like to connect with the people around me. Same with work. I get there early. I spend the first 15 minutes talking to the people around the office and just asking them about how their night was, what they've got planned for the day, and just building that connection, because it starts my day so much more positively. I feel like I've got this connection and it's that magnetic energy of I'm feeling positive, I'm boosting my positivity around my environment, and I can feel that energy lift, and then it starts my day so much more positively. And I like that you said that if you can't find anything, start to take more notice in what you do and when you do feel that, because that itself automatically makes such a difference on the way that you perceive yourself, because you then just go, oh, like I actually do like so many things that I do that you didn't realise that you actually did like. And it already starts to build that trust from the first day that, oh, like I do like who I am, and I do like the energy that I bring.
And it can be confronting at first, because so many of us just go through the motions of the day-to-day life. Like we wake up, we do the things, we do this, we do that. It's just normal to us. But when we actually bring our awareness to the things that we're doing, we can be like, oh my God, like I do a lot and I've never really become aware of this. Like I don't really know it. But it's so powerful, because I like to do writing it down, or just on your phone, like your notes app, just so it helps be able to put it into like the world. Instead of just thinking about it, we have so many thoughts in a day, like we can forget about the good that we do. But if we write it down, those things compile and just add up, and then before you know it, you could be scrolling for the things that you've done that you're proud of, and if you hadn't have taken note, you might have just forgotten about it. So I always love writing down, because that's when you can see like your patterns or the reoccurring things. Like if you write down every Monday, this one thing's always like you're really proud of, what is it in your day that's different to a Wednesday? And you can really begin to create stuff in your routine that makes you more happy about yourself, or helps you become more proud.
And you can consistently always get more happier and more proud. And I think that is something that I'm going to start doing. I'm going to buy another notebook. I already have about 7 in my handbag already. It's going to break if I carry any more, but I reckon we can carry one more. And I'm going to genuinely start jotting down every single time that I've made somewhat of a positive impact, or that I've liked what I've said or done or achieved. Just so I can, on the days that are hard, I can reflect back and go, like, you have done so many positive things that day, and even on a good day you have so much more things to reflect on. And then we both journal every single night. It gives so much more positivity to your journaling, and realizing how much positives you can see in a day, and takes away so much of that negative belief within yourself that you aren't good enough, that people don't like you, that you don't like yourself. And it reframes that of, no, like, I actually do like so much myself so much of the time. I do feel that people like who I am so much of the time. And you'll feel the impact of the perceptions that others have on you the more that you feel that impact within yourself.
Yeah. And I do think, just saying, because it's something that I used to be naive about, is when I did journal at night, I'd just write all the positives about the day, all the positives about the world, people around me, myself, but I would brush off the things that didn't go so well. But when we are beginning to create that self-talk, we do need to acknowledge the not so good things as well, because that is the way that we learn and the lessons in life for us to grow. So yes, it doesn't have to be the whole thing about the negative, like we do not want that, but we also don't, if something impacted you in that day, you don't want to just brush past it, because that is just ignoring it or suppressing it. But maybe even if we have like all the positives, and then today this happened and it made me feel this way, but I can do this instead, or this is what I've learned from it. So that way we aren't just ignoring the bad things or the things that didn't go so well, but we are writing it or acknowledging it in a way that isn't negative. It's, yes, this has happened, but this is what I can do, or this is what I've learned from it.
That is probably one of my favourite things to do when I feel like I haven't achieved something, or I've had a bad day or a bad situation. I love just writing it down and just letting myself express how I feel, then reflect on it and respond in a way that's helpful, and giving ideas of how I can learn to handle the situation a little bit better, give some reassurance to myself that it's okay to have times where you're not feeling as great or bad things happen, and it's okay that you probably didn't handle it the way that you would have liked to handle it, and that it is your one life. This is your first time walking this earth, so don't beat yourself up over it. You now have the opportunity to learn from it. Great thing in the world, you can always learn. And then so when you finish writing, you build that trust and the belief that, I can do this. I know what I need to do to get through this. And even if you do it again the next day, you go, I know what I can do. And you just consistently build it, and you have that belief because you're positively self-talking that you know that you can do this and you will be able to do it.
I think a reoccurring theme with what we've spoken about to really help that positive self-talk is setting time with yourself. Sitting down and just allowing yourself to communicate with yourself, because when we are able to communicate and become vulnerable with ourselves, that is when we can learn the most about ourselves, and then that's when we can begin to create those aspects of where we need to work more, or where we need to talk more kindly to ourselves, where we need to be a little bit more like motivational or pushing, because self-talk, like positive self-talk, isn't all relaxed, like, we'll do this. Sometimes it's, if I can't be bothered doing something, come on, like, you can do this, I know you're tired, but you need to do this now. And it's not always just go with the flow. It is a good motivator and just pusher as well, which, what did I say? It is the perfect discipliner. Like, it's going to show me discipline when I can't be bothered to do something. It's, no, you can do this. I want you to do this now. Just because you can't be bothered, we can do this together. And if you're tired, we'll go slow. And it's always compromisation as well. Like, if you can't be bothered doing something, we're not going to do the whole thing first of all. We'll slowly work up and see how you feel. You might realize that, I can actually do this whole thing. It's just literally how you treat yourself and how you talk to yourself is how you would treat and talk to your loved ones, like the ones that are closest to you. because the relationship that we hold with ourselves is the longest one we will ever have in our entire life. So I don't understand why we don't make it the strongest one as well, because the more love and care and compassion and understanding and patience that we hold within ourselves, that will start to show with others in our life as well, because we'll have more care and understanding towards them because we hold it for ourselves. And it's just literally a ripple effect. Everything starts from within, and the more that we are able to dive within ourselves and understand ourselves, the more we can grow and nurture and just care for ourselves and then others as well.
Yeah, and that reflects into almost every aspect of our lives. Come back to the example of cleaning my room. I don't want to do it. I know that I can go with someone, just do it. Like, I know you can do this. It's cleaning your room. You do this every week. But you compromise and you go, I'll pick up the rubbish. And then you go, okay, can we pick up all the dirty clothes now?
Mm-hmm.
And you just consistently go, and then you either get halfway through, you're like, you know what, I'm just happy that I got half of it done.
Exactly.
I'm happy that I started it. Or I get all the way through, I'm like, cool, I did it. And I can stop there, I can go, all right, let's move on to the bathroom now. And like, I think starting anything is always so hard. Like, motivation, nerves, anxiety, in every different situation, the start is so scary or just
daunting.
Yeah, like you just don't want to. But once you begin, like, you do find all this motivation and this positivity, and you kind of lose that self-doubt of I can't do this. You're like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then the belief starts, and maybe you don't achieve everything that you wanted to achieve. But if you don't reframe it as I didn't achieve my complete goal, so it's not good enough. But you started it, and you can continue to keep growing on that. And it doesn't mean that is who you are. It just means it's a positive thing. You've started.
Mm-hmm.
You've started, and you just can keep going from here.
Mm-hmm.
I hope by sharing some of our knowledge and our experience with our self-talk can help give a bit of insight into the importance and the impacts that self-talk can have on ourselves and the way that we enjoy our lives and feel about ourselves. And it's just such an important aspect, and it's something that every single person should be consistently working on, because it has so much positive impacts on your life.
Yeah, and I remember so clearly when I was in the point in my life when I used to listen to talks about this or podcasts or read books about this, and I was like, oh, easy for you to say, like, you're not me, like, you don't understand how hard I am on myself. But it just takes time, and it's not just the time that passes, it's the time that you consistently work on yourself and strive to create this self-talk, create this relationship with yourself, because the time will pass, but it's what you do in that time. It takes so much repetition, it takes so much time, it takes so much patience. It's literally your new beliefs that you want fighting your old beliefs. And that's where it can become like one little thing in your day can change your whole mood or can ruin your whole day. But is it actually how you're feeling, or is it just because you're in that mood? And then it's just tapping into that and say, am I actually really annoyed that I spilt my iced chocolate, or is it just because this is how I used to react? Like, just stay in that mood. And it's just all about figuring out how you want to react in the present moment, rather than just going back to what you think that you should react or how you used to.
Yeah, definitely. I had a point, but it completely slipped my mind because you said that so well. But the importance of like this taking time and repetition is so important, and starting at any moment, starting right now, is such a positive step. And it doesn't have to be every moment of every single day that you do start, but just by acknowledging it and taking small steps does start to change, and it does make it easier. And then you do start to implement it more in your life, the more that you actually start to see the impacts that it does have. And we so much in life say, oh, I'll start next week. It'll be a good job for next week. But just start now. Say 3 things that you really like about yourself, and that's all you have to do to start. And then from there, you can learn and implement. You can have different perceptions of the world and yourselves just by starting there. And it's really important to add that I know that your own personal situations and how you interpret situations is so unique to yourself, but in some way, shape or form, we have all been through this and we're all still going through this. And just because you wish to be in a place now and you don't feel like the person that you're speaking to can understand how you're feeling, that may not always be the case, because they probably have felt that way at some stage. But they have been doing this repetition and work, and it's a good way for you to change your perception of the situation and go, wow, see how much they have grown, and not feel that envy of they don't understand, and go, they have understood and they have grown from this, they have learnt from this. And that can be your fuel of, I can do this, I will do this.
I just hope anyone that's listening can really begin to connect with their self and learn more about their self, so they understand why they are the way they are, and understand why your voice speaks to you the way that it does, but then reframe how you want to speak to yourself, because everyone should be learning and growing every day. Like, I believe that is something that every human should do until the day that they die. Like, it's such a important thing in our life to just continue to grow, learn about ourselves. So if we are speaking in this way that we don't want to continue, instead of just, oh, this is just me, like, this is who I am, I'm just a negative person about myself, we can begin to learn how we can change it. And that is so powerful, because when you understand that this is something that you want to work on, literally nothing can stop you from achieving it if you put in that work and time for yourself.
Yeah, I was reading something that I wrote last year, and when I was in a bit of a spiral and all of my negative self-talk was in full effect, and I finished it with, maybe I need to lean into this person of who I am. This is who I actually am on the inside. No one's gonna like me, but it's who I am. And now when I read it, I just want to hug her. But it was so important that I didn't let that part of me take control, and I identified that, okay, no, like, this isn't who I want to be. Just because it is who I am now doesn't mean that it defines who I will be for the rest of my life. And just because I had a setback of a spiral of, I'm going to feed into this, I didn't feed into it. And I allowed myself to grow from it, and I can reflect back on it and just give her a hug from a distance and go, you got this, and you had this, and look at where you are now.
I just hope everyone can begin to give your past self a hug, and then make the stones to walk up the path of who you want to become. Because anything that you want in life, if you put your mind to it, if you believe wholeheartedly that you can do it and you put in the effort, you can become it.
Belief is key.
It is. So is repetition.
Oh, preach.